This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so let me start off by saying I fully understand where people say just because a fight has been signed, as in the contract signed, doesn't mean that the fight is definitely 100% happening next or anytime soon. I get that point because not just Joshua Fury, for example, but any fight. Even if a date and a venue is announced, there's no guarantees that that fight will happen. Injuries could happen, whatever else it may be. No fight is officially really on until both fighters are walking to the ring, touch gloves, and the bell goes. That's when the fight is officially on. I fully understand that point. Okay, so when it comes to Fury and Joshua, I'm seeing a lot of comments. There's so many of them, and for some reason I keep getting copied in on some of these things on social media where Deontay Wilder fans are in full damage control. Well, how can it be that Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury have signed for a fight? Clearly they haven't, because there's no date and no venue. This doesn't happen in boxing. Quite clearly, this is a lie. You lot must be stupid to think that Fury and Joshua have signed. How can it be that Tyson Fury has signed to fight Anthony Joshua when he's still going through this legal case with Deontay Wilder? He should give him a third fight, conversation. These are all the different kind of things that these Wilder fans are saying. Okay? But here's the thing. I mean, unless you know something that Bob Arum doesn't know, because when I interviewed Bob Arum a couple of weeks ago, he said that case was dead. Wilder has no leg to stand on. It's done. It's finished. There's no obstacle blocking Fury and Joshua for undisputed. So unless you know something more than what Bob Arum does, I don't even know why you're mentioning it. Just because you want something to be true doesn't mean it is. So anyway, here's some facts. I know not all Wilder fans like facts. Again, Wilder does have some pretty good fans, but he has a section of them that are just lobotomized. Okay? So here's a couple of facts for you. Wilder has history, and even recent history as well, of announcing fights without a date and a venue. So let's hold the same fire to everybody's toes, okay? So if you think that because no date and no venue has been announced for Fury and Joshua, well, was he saying that when Wilder announced that he was going to be taking on Tyson Fury? But he announced that he's going to be taking on Tyson Fury in late July of 2018. About 2 or 3 weeks before Tyson Fury took on Francisco Pianeta, which happened to be in August. So you're talking a good 2 or 3 weeks before Fury took on Francisco Pianeta in Belfast. A lot of you will remember Wilder, he went over there to Belfast and received somewhat of a hero's welcome. Even Wilder said that's like the first time he's ever felt like some kind of celebrity where he was appreciated. I know a couple of things happened that maybe shouldn't have happened. Like, I remember the crowd threw a beer over Deontay Wilder as he walked through. Billy Joe Saunders hit Wilder in the face or over the head, whatever it was, with a chicken in Nando's, whatever. Okay, but overall, he received somewhat of a hero's welcome. And it was nice to see, it really was. But this was in August. So a couple of weeks after Fury and Wilder announced that they were going to be having a fight. So that was in August. Tyson Fury defeated Francisco Pianeta. They even had their face-off in the ring. And then soon after, they did that round table with John Rawling. But we were saying, because Frank Warren, he was saying the fight's on. And we were going, okay, so where's the date? Where's the venue? Oh, well, that'll be announced soon. So this was in August, yes? Go fact check me if you want. Go look on BoxRec and you'll see exactly when Tyson Fury took on Francisco Pianeta. They didn't announce a date and a venue until the 22nd of September. So this is what, 5-6 weeks after Fury took on Pianeta. So added to the 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, you took in what, 2.5 months, maybe 3 months, that this fight has been on with no date and no venue. Okay, so it happens. There's one example. Another example will be Deontay Wilder. He announced when Anthony Joshua, he went over to America to take on Andy Ruiz Jr. After, of course, the Big Baby Miller fight fell through. They tried to get Adam Kalnacki. He turned down millions to take on Joshua. Luis Ortiz turned down $7 million to take on Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz Jr. stepped up and, of course, got the win over Anthony Joshua. But about 3 or 4 days before that fight, Wilder was so scared that Anthony Joshua was going to beat Andy Ruiz Jr. and stand in the middle of the ring and call out Wilder on his own turf, in his own country, the United States of America. He was so scared about that a couple of days before the fight, it's a fact that he announced that, well, there's no point Anthony Joshua calling me out because I ain't going to fight Anthony Joshua, even though he just turned down $100 million right from the spirit, is what it is. I ain't going to fight Anthony Joshua. I've just agreed to have a rematch with Luis Ortiz, and then Tyson Fury. Even though Tyson Fury says, I have no idea what he's talking about, I haven't signed anything. Is what it is, okay? But the point is, Wilder said that, and this was in June. So he's going to be fighting Luis Ortiz next. Do you know when they actually announced the date and the venue for that Luis Ortiz fight? Even though he announced it in the week leading up to Joshua Ruiz Part 1 in June, they actually announced it on the 29th of September. How long is that? June to the last day of the month, or almost the last day of the month of September. How long is that before they actually announced a date and a venue? So there's a couple of examples, okay? And there's more of them as well. The Dominic Brazil one of that, for example. But you can't say, but Wilder, he's holding his fight up because there's a legal case going on. This is why a date and a venue hasn't been announced. A lot of fights don't have a date and a venue announced. Most fights do because they're going to be small hall shows. Up to maybe the O2 Arena and that, for example, or York Hall, or if you're in America, the Barclays Center, things like that. Okay, you're having shows that are not going to be a pay-per-view worthy fight, ones that are not going to generate a whole heap of interest. So yes, usually a date and a venue will be announced. But on big fights, not always. It's going to take some time. But they announce that a fight's going to be on because fans are getting impatient saying, well, when is so-and-so going to fight? When's he going to fight? Okay, well, he's going to be fighting so-and-so on this particular, around this kind of date and time, but we'll give you the official date and venue in due course. And then you're waiting weeks and weeks and weeks, as I've just proved to you with Deontay Wilder. So when it comes to Fury and Joshua, it's nothing new. It's nothing new, but these Wilder fans, they just want to make up new things, like history of their guy doing it has never happened. That this isn't the done thing. Fury and Joshua makes no difference, them signing a contract or not. But it does. What this does tell you is that with Tyson Fury signing a legal contract, so he's now bound to fight Anthony Joshua, and vice versa for Joshua, of course. But that will show you no obstacles where Deontay Wilder is concerned. He wouldn't legally be allowed to. Much like he wouldn't have legally been allowed to walk away from a Deontay Wilder third fight after Wilder and all his excuses and accusing Tyson Fury of all kinds of criminal activity and insulting his heritage of gypsies and everything else like that, which he should walk away when somebody does that. But the point is, he wouldn't be allowed to walk away from that deal unless his legal team, as in here in the UK and in America, could look over and go, yep, you're absolutely free to walk away. They would have advised him to say, yes, you're okay to walk away. Again, let's not forget, Bob Arum, who has a history of being a lawyer, in fact, he didn't work with the Kennedys, the president and that, he will know that it's okay to walk away. So you can talk about mediation, you can talk about arbitration, all this kind of thing. It's not happening. It's done. It's finished. He can sign for any fight that he chooses, and he's chosen to fight Anthony Joshua. Again, let's go with the same energy. I'm seeing a lot of comments from both Tyson Fury fans and Anthony Joshua fans by saying, hey, I thought all you AJ fans said that Tyson Fury was scared. Hey, I thought all you Tyson Fury fans said that AJ was scared, and vice versa. I don't know if I've got that mixed up. But, well, clearly both Fury and Joshua are not afraid because they are going to fight. All right, they're going to fight each other. So again, let's just keep with the same energy, yeah? Anyway, I think I've spoken long enough. I think I've proven my point here, that fights can be announced, fights can be signed without a date and a venue. Sorry, Wilder fans, you're going to have to hold that L, put it in your pocket, and walk around with it. Eat that humble pie, and look forward to Deontay Wilder taking on a journeyman next. All right? Here's what it is. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you on the next video.